welcome to class. I'm Miss Faust. Today is a note-taking day. If you notice, right here it says take notes. So please make sure you have paper available and a pen or a pencil. Yes, we're going to start with another writer. A poet, actually. Well, he did more than poetry, but he's heavily into poetry. Okay? So if you follow me over to the board, and let me get a pointer. Oh, hold on. You got your paper? Oh, you got your pen? Oh, you got your pencil? Okay, great. So you are so ready to take some notes. Yes, I'm going to share some information about our poet, Pablo Neruda. These are his years, 1904 to 1973. He is from Chile, so he's a Chilean poet, diplomat, and politician. Yes, exciting, isn't that? So are you ready? I'm going to share, as I said, information. So let me get my notes and papers and everything ready. Okay, so are you set? Good. Actually, he wasn't born with that name. It's more or less his pseudonym. It is one that he took when he was a little older. Okay. When he was a little child, believe it or not, he loved poetry. He loved it very much. He was really into poetry. The only problem is his father wasn't excited about that. So he was like, no son of mine is doing poetry. So poor Neruda, he had to, well, switch names. Okay. So yes, he took his birth name, which is a very long name, and he changed it to that. Okay. He was a very outgoing child. All right. So let's see, what else do we have about him? Okay, mix it around. Okay. Let's see. Yes. When he was in school, one of his, the principal of that school was actually a famous writer herself, and she was down the road, the Nobel laureate of her country, Chile, and that was Gabriela Mistral. Very, very good poet, influential, and she did influence him. So, he kept on writing. When he got older, he decided to become a teacher, and he became a French teacher. You're going, what? From Chile? He's doing French? Yes, he did. So he was really excited about that. But he started publishing some verse books. Remember, we're talking verse as in poetry. So he's publishing poetry. He didn't make much as a French teacher and the like, so he had to live off the income that he was making from his poetry books. Down the road, by the time he was 20, he was already, they said, with 2 books published, Neruda had already become one of the best-known Chilean poets. So yes, he keeps writing. So then he becomes a diplomat. He becomes what they call a consul. He represents his country, namely Chile, in other countries. Okay? For example, let's see, he was stationed in what we now call, it used to be called Burma, under the British rule, but it's now Myanmar, and I'm sure you've heard it. Myanmar is in the news of late. But yes, he represented Chile there. He also was in Colombia, okay, again, representing, okay, and Argentina. He was also a consul in France, so his French comes in handy, and in Mexico, among other places, countries, such as Spain. It is when he was in Spain, no, I backtrack. It's when he was in Argentina, he became friends with a very famous poet. It's just like poetry is his life. Isn't that exciting? Okay. Known as Federico Garcia, Lorca. Very famous at the time. They became friends. And Lorca was defended his poetry writing and the like. So they were really close. But when he went to Spain, at that time, look at the dates, please. So we're talking early 1900s. He's such an exciting man. I'm getting so excited here. You're going, oh, it's a lot of notes. Remember, when you take good notes, good note-taking, dates, names, terms, definitions, Okay, places, anything when the teacher keeps saying it over and over, quite often it's important. And besides that, you never know. You might need this information. Could be a test. You never know. Can you foretell the future? There you go. Okay, so in Spain, communism was taking place in Spain at the time. So he got connected with the Communist Party. So you could say that Pablo Neruda became a communist during his lifetime in Spain and the like, and beyond. Okay, right, and that's also where he met a young woman, and they got married. She actually was his second wife after the first, and so on and so on. Later got married to her. He's still writing and the like, still writing. During the outbreak in 1936, the Spanish Civil War, there was the outbreak, and Garcia Lorca was executed. And he had before becoming communist, he met two other gentlemen who were into politics, radical politics, in the Communist Party, and they both fought at the front. Okay. And Neruda would go around Spain trying to get donations to support to support what they were called the Republicans at the time. Believe it or not, you're going, oh, like here? No. This is Spain. It's a little different from the United States. Okay. So yes, and then he's a consul in Paris and in France and Mexico. He just keeps going like this and this. He's still writing. And then he becomes a politician. So communism was not exactly something that Chile was in favor of. They were not interested in people. Obviously, you can tell people are getting executed, and they were not in overseas. And it's the same for even Chile. They were not in favor of it. So it wasn't just Spain executing. It was also people in Chile. They were not in favor of communism. So they were against that. So he had a little issue. Okay, so he did become part of in the elections and everything. He became part of their parliament and the like. And unfortunately, the president that he had supported turned on him. And he was expelled from the Senate. That's what he was. The Senate, not parliament, Senate. And he left the country because he would have been arrested. So the president turned on him. Okay. So yes. And then he visited the Soviet Union at the time, known as Russia, and various other countries such as Mexico. He's in exile, and so on and so on and so on. He's still writing. And then, believe it or not, yes, he actually celebrated Joseph Stalin, okay, the leader of the Soviet Union at the time. And then in the early 50s in Chile, it became a little better, so he returned to the country. He was able to come back, and he's still writing during all this time. And then he was a supporter of one of their candidates, and who made him an ambassador to France and all this stuff. And then in 1971, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature. Okay, the Nobel Prize for Literature, and he was very ill, and you can see he died shortly after. And the man that was running for president, he died a few days later because he died in a military coup. So yes, he knew a lot of people dying, and again, he was a communist. Those were his beliefs. Okay. So yes, in his work, he celebrated Joseph Stalin in his writings, even because he definitely supported communism. He really believed in what communists believed in. And as I said, he got the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1971. So all the books of poetry that he had written, they made an impact. He has several themes that he wrote about. He wrote about love. He wrote about loneliness. He wrote about the past and present. And, in quotes, common everyday objects animals, and plants. End of quote. So he was a very fascinating man. And you might be wondering, getting a history lesson today. Well, I think in order to understand Neruda and the work you're going to be reading, you need to understand where he's coming from. Okay? Yes, he was a Chilean, but he was a part of a party that the Chileans did not believe in at the time. Okay? Namely communism. And you need to understand that he was a communist to truly understand and appreciate what he's writing in today's reading. Okay? If you have any questions whatsoever, let me see if there's anything else I wanted to write. So again, think of his themes. Love, loneliness, the past and present, and then in quotes, common everyday objects, animals and plants, end of quote. Okay. So that's just something to think about. Okay, I'm going to try to see if there's anything else. Nope. Nope. Okay. So if you have any questions about it, please let me know. All right. Otherwise, let's turn to today's assignment. Okay. I would like you to read Pablo Neruda's The Enemy. So please Google the text of The Enemy. It's not a very long poem. Okay. Keep in mind what I shared about Neruda. Okay. So, this is what we're going to be focusing on, The Enemy. Also, I'd like you to make sure you copy this down. Copy and answer. Who is the speaker when you read The Enemy? And please read it before you try to answer this question, or even that question. Please read The Enemy. If you are having problems understanding it, let me know. Next class period, I will try to go, again, highlights and the like, so you get a better understanding. It is a very deep poem. Yes, it is a poem. You were going, what? Yes, it's deep. It's a poem. It is very deep, but we'll try to figure out the basic meaning, the basic gist of what Neruda is saying and where he's coming from. Okay. So who's the speaker? How are the speaker and the enemy blind? And I'm not talking they're walking around blind. Okay. As in with their eyes. So how are the speaker and the enemy blind? So please make sure you respond to those two questions. Then finally, here we go. What country is hosting the Olympics this year? I believe I gave you guys a clue at one point. What country is hosting the Olympics this year? The country was supposed to do it last year, but because of situation last year, okay, with the coronavirus and et cetera, they're doing it this year in July. So what country? Whose turn is it? Let's see. Did you pick it up when I sort of threw it out there? Okay. So again, what is your assignment for today? To Google The Enemy and read it and to answer these questions, and then let me know what country. Okay? And that's for today. So remember, when you're done with it, immediately send it on off to me. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Till next time, bye-bye.